to build on the question that was asked by my colleague. Lieutenant General Mkhwana's main concern, as I happen to understand it, with regard to the BOC, goes beyond it in terms of the way it is structured. It goes beyond the concern that they can't talk. But there's a feeling that their own views as provincial leaders is often subsumed to the national interest, because these ones I would say, for a lack of a better word, a coordinated majority, whose ideas when they come to the BOC will prevail inevitably, naturally, because they are a coordinated team that stays together in the head office. Maybe I would like your comment on that, but also link that comment with the question about whether or not during his own time as the acting national commissioner, the same arrangement existed in terms of who constitute and attend the BOC.
Yeah, thanks, Honorable Chair. Yeah, the fact that maybe they would feel subdued by the head office people, I don't think is true, because no, the head office people are not a group that is coordinated or trying to gang up against anybody. In actual fact, the converse is true at some point. At some point, you would find a team of provincial commissioners together. But that what one would say was a problem. But when coming to when he was there, or when he was acting, yes, the same setup was there. I'm just not sure whether that BOC was called National Management Forum or it was called a BOC. But I know that we were sitting in those meetings, be it BOC or National Management Forum, it was constituted that way. I think more maybe is emphasizing that the law says something and we are doing it otherwise. But the fact of the matter is, we don't see any prohibition by the law to that effect. And it just makes things easier that you can't have senior managers sitting somewhere in a corner and consult the BOC, and then you must have another meeting with the other senior executive instead of just having one meeting. That is the view. I think in the new Police Amendment Act that is coming, the Board of Commissioners is recommended that it be called National Management Forum of South African Police Service, and that consists of the National Commissioner, the Provincial Commissioner, the deputies, and the Divisional Commissioners.
Okay. On your statement, the one you deposited with us, I'm going to read the paragraph so that you don't have to struggle to go there, and I promise I won't distort it. I'll read it as you wrote it. On page, it's paragraph 40, actually, page 21, and I will start in the middle of that paragraph. In my view, the minister does not have the authority to unilaterally prevent or halt the filling of posts, as this is a matter of operational management. This had substantial implications that negatively affected the performance of the crime intelligence and the execution of the constitutional mandate. What kind of example, what examples can you give us about that? The substantial implications. What can you say about that?
Thanks, Honorable Chair. The matter there is that we have provinces that do not have provincial heads of intelligence, which we were about to fill, and when the that directive came, we had to stop. It's a couple of them. I think is Western Cape is one of them. Eastern Cape is one. KwaZulu-Natal, Northwest. Yeah, I think it's those. But there are also other posts at other various levels where there is no, the posts are vacant, they are not filled.
General, I'm sure you are aware by now that one of the things that angered your provincial commissioner, the KZN Lieutenant General Corners, was the fact that you cancelled the participation and the giving of the awards to members of the political killing task team. And he was very angered by that because he says, he might be dramatic, but that's how he put it. He says, these people had prepared very nice suits. So they had entered into particular expenses on the basis that they were informed and expecting that they are going to be given awards on that occasion. And then you intervene to cancel that award. Firstly, why did you do that? Secondly, don't you think your decision to cancel the conferment of the awards to them actually betrays what you are telling us about the level of confidence and the quality of the work which the task team was producing?
Thanks, Honorable Chair. No, firstly, well, I didn't know that it was cancelled on that verge. I spoke to Kumalo that I think we're not going to have the awards for this specific team. Let's first clear up these matters that are currently happening in terms of disbandment, then we will then continue the awards. By the way, when we had awards in Limpopo, I think it must be 2 years ago or so, we had the team PKTT present, and from there, I had a discussion with General Kumalo that we think the PKTT awards, we shouldn't do it with the rest of the subs. We should rather do it separate. And I said, well, let's not do it. That was last year in December. Let's do it in the new year, which is this current year. And we do it separate. So we are going to still do it. But I wasn't aware that maybe you might have got that message on the verge when people were wearing suits. I wasn't aware of that. I communicated with Kumalo quite in advance, because in Limpopo we had a problem that we were giving them awards, but there was a problem of calling them to the stage because we want to protect their identity and so on. So calling them in a big hall and putting them there saying this is what they've done, we said it was not the right thing. And we are going to do it this year. They will benefit even double last year and this time, but it will be separate. But I'm sorry if I stopped it on the verge of happening. That never came to my attention. Thank
you. I want to go to paragraph 86 of the same statement, and I'll read the last sentence of that paragraph, General. It says, this is especially pertinent in the view of our historical past and the involvement of politicians to abuse the police for specific political purposes. That is the last sentence on paragraph 86 of your statement to us. What is meant by that? Politicians who abuse the police for specific political purposes. What is meant by that? And maybe who were those and for what specific purposes?
Well, that statement refers to actually the pre-94, the dispensation, where the then apartheid government was using police for their gainful purposes. That's what it refers.
Okay. And just for my confirmation, in terms of the report that you indicated you submitted to Minister Mchunu, and you said that he never responded, that means even today, to date, you have never received his response. That is a report about the disbandment. Despite requesting the report about disbandment, the minister did not respond. 57 of your statement. Up to date, he has never responded to you in terms of that report.
Thanks, Honorable Chair and members. Well, remember that since January, there was no response, and the first engagement was in March the 6th. But that report that is in writing, yes, there was never a response in writing.
Okay. Paragraph 102, same statement. Maybe let me read down at 103, but 102, I can just tell you that the first sentence there says, on the 10th of September 2025, the DA issued a media statement indicating that Ms. Kolapana wrote to the acting minister requesting him to immediately act against myself and to ensure the rearrest of Major General Lushaba. Now I want to go down to paragraph 103. I wanted to give you context why I'm asking you to comment on that. Then the last sentence on paragraph 103, I hope it's the last year it is, it says that the motive of the statement can only be to discredit me, which is yourself, and undermine my integrity. Why do you think, what would be the reasons that the political party, in this case the DA, would be so determined to destroy you and your integrity? What could be the reason for that, in your own opinion?
Thanks, Honorable Chair. I don't know. One just picked up that behavior, but really, I wouldn't know why. Why would a political party go out and put out a statement that is, from every aspect of the statement, is just a lie and it's false? What would be the motive? I end up saying it's just to discredit me because, I mean, if you put a lie out to be a fact, what do you want to achieve? Rearrest of the Shaba, minister must deal with me, and I haven't done anything. I was here in Western Cape. I was 8 and 9, as I said. My movements were captured quite widely and on television, and I never met the Major General that is being referred to. But even if I was in Pretoria, I met him. What crime is that? There wouldn't have been any crime. And the very same official, yes, he has been arrested twice, but he had no bail conditions, nothing. So why would then a political party come out and give this type of a statement, which everything of it is false? The only thing I could come to a conclusion is to discredit me and put a picture out there to the public and the minister that he is doing wrong things.
Now, General, I'm now taking you to your affidavit to the Commission of Inquiry. And I just need clarity on a few areas there. The first one is on 130, paragraph 130 is on page 39. I'm also going to read it for you to make it quicker. And I'm going to start on the second sentence, which says, My position has always been that the PKT had to remain. Therefore, in the report to the minister, we simply stated the directive of the minister to disband has been noted, and that the initial objective and the directive by the president has been achieved with a noticeable degree of political related killings. What do you mean by the initial objective? And what could have been or will be the second and more objectives beyond the initial one?
Through you, Honorable Chair, the initial objective was to fight political killings. So political killings were going down. That was the objective, was to resolve political killings, and the team was doing that, achieving. But by that doesn't mean that's the end of it, because there were still some killings.
Okay, so General, I would take it that it's just a question of semantics initially, and because we are saying the primary objective remains one, which was to eliminate politically related killings. I was assuming that there might have been something initially, which, according to the statement, appeared to have been achieved, and now we're proceeding to the next phase of what was demanded. But let me take your answer for that. On paragraph 135, same document, you are making reference there to a discussion in a meeting with the minister, deputy minister, deputy national commissioner, and where also the chief of staff was a very much active participant. And he and the SBIA were against a particular position. What I wanted to check is, has it been a common practice that the chief of staff would be such an active participant on matters of this nature, whenever they are discussed with his principal and you who are meant to be the expertise in the field?
Well, this specific chief of staff, it has been common that he will do. The only areas that he won't get involved is normally meetings between me and the minister, where we have one-on-one. But where we have officials, he will participate.
On 141, paragraph 141, you are saying the minister appeared to be angered by the fact that the statistics presented to him in the meeting showed that the PKT members were still working and had made progress. In your opinion, why would the minister be angry with the positive statistics? And maybe also, how did you determine in your observation that he's now becoming very angry?
Well, you can see on a person's face that definitely made him angry. Indeed, I could see that it made him angry. The Honorable Chair, through you, I don't remember the exact number of dockets, but I think the dockets were either 114, they increased to 115, or they were 112, they increased. But in principle, what happened there was that the dockets have increased. And one of the dockets I remember very well that caused the increase is the Mandeni murder case of the councillor, where he said, but you are still taking job instead of having been disbanded. So, yeah, that's what I say. That surprised me. Even though, let's say, generally we agree that we disband, but they took more extra docket and they did good work. That's supposed to be appreciated, that they resolved, they were able to link people to a murder, firearms to murder. That's good work.
Now, in paragraph 174 of your same affidavit, you are very, very concerned about the fact that what had been raised by Lieutenant General Sbiya, and you didn't agree with, some 3 or 4 issues that he proposed, I'm sure you recall them, comes back now, pops out, coming through one of the interactions that we're having with Minister Mchunu. Have you come to the conclusion that Minister Mchunu was acting honestly and coincidentally his concerns were related to those of General Sbiya? Or your view is that he and Sbiya may have conspired, that because I didn't succeed with the National Commissioner, my boss, you are technically his boss because you're a minister. Please bring these things in on the other side.
Thanks, Honorable Chair. That's exactly how I interpreted it. After, when I start to realize later, initially I didn't see that way, but later when I look at how the issues unfolded, I realized that it is indeed so that the same matters that General Sbiya raised before, which the first one I think was the command and control of the cold case team that he wanted to take over. Other one was that counterintelligence shouldn't carry dockets. And the third one was that General Khumalo shouldn't oversee PKTT. He must only deal with this division. I did indicate to him that there is no problem. On the issue of Khumalo overseeing PKTT, I said, if Khumalo is overloaded, so it be, to will relieve him. And but otherwise, he's a member of SAPS, a police official. There's nothing wrong if he still look after the team, which eventually indicated he have got no problem. And the other one was that the counterintelligence investigations shouldn't carry dockets. And I said, the fact that it's called counterintelligence investigations, they do carry dockets. At some point, they have the liberty to enjoin a detective to what they are doing when they think the time is right. There is nothing wrong. So, yeah, it was coincident that, yes, Minister raised the matters. I think on the meeting of the 27th, even went as far as there was a presentation of the National Strategic Intelligence Act, where they say that, you see, in the mandate, there's no investigations there. There might be no investigations, but he's a member of the police. His functions are in terms of Section 205 of the Act, Section 205(3) of the Act. If he can do any of those functions, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And there's nothing wrong in him overseeing the investigation. Actually, it makes the work much more easier. So, yes, the same matters happened to then later be raised by the minister. And that gave me an indication that probably that's the reason.
I think I'm left with about 2 or 3 questions, Chair. I know the time I'm left with is too much, but I'm going to leave it because I think some of the questions were dealt with by my colleagues. The one for those 2, 3 questions that are left, General, in terms of, I mean, if you look at I think it's paragraph 17, or I would say point 17 in the report that you've given us. There you are talking about on your evidence, you are talking about national and strategic direction as that being the responsibility of the minister, if I understand very well what you said there. So what will that constitute? National and strategic direction?
Thanks, Honorable Chair. To say the minister is responsible for national policing policy and strategic direction is to assist the organization in the direction to say, in terms of priorities of government, like in this current time, we have what we call medium-term development framework. We have this priority to develop a ethical, developmental and ethical state. And in that regard, we have got certain key deliverables that we will be doing. So in short, I'm saying he will give a direction in terms of what we should do. For example, if you say, like currently, gang violence is a problem in Western Cape, let's to deal with it. That's a strategic direction, according to me, that we do. But who am I going to deploy? How are they going to do it? Are they going to work only in the night or during the day? That is not strategic. That's operational. That's for me. How many people, based on whatever funding I have, and so on. For me, that is operational. But the first one, I would say, is strategic. Like he did say, gang violence is a problem. Extortion is a problem, especially Western Cape, Eastern Cape. So that's the direction that we know we must put our resources, come up with real tangibles in terms of fighting those specific crimes.
Okay. Now, let me conclude. I'm going to combine the last two questions into one because they are not going to be difficult to combine. They are very much related. The contract awarded to the business company associated with Kate Machala is finalized in June. And then we obviously, let me not say obviously, but when I was looking at what then happened subsequent to that contract, is that already there were some publicly expressed concerns relating to that contract. Whether they reach you or not, I'm not sure. But what I want to understand is that if and when you were able to see those developments, just a few months or so after the contract had been finalized, did you do anything? And if yes, what did you do to respond to those public criticism or negative reporting about that contract being awarded to Machala in June? If you did anything, I would like to know what did you do, but also to know if you were aware of whatever that got reported as negative coverage of that contract. The last one, they are linked, General. Okay. The last one is that then in December, the minister comes in, and from your own submission, the minister doesn't say what is reported negatively requires your attention as management, but he directs that you must do a review. The words that we are using in your statement, one of your statements, the minister requested or directed us to review. And in response to that review request of the minister, you then decided to appoint the internal auditor to carry that instruction. Now, didn't you see the minister's choice of words as an interference? Because he doesn't say, I'm a minister here, something very negative is reported about my department. Please do something about it. But in terms of your own formulation on the statement, he says review. Is that not an interference?
Thanks, Honorable Chair. Well, the first one, I don't remember that being aware. I only became aware after we were doing that process of auditing the contract. And on the last one, well, the minister said review. Review, I think it means yes, go and look at, is everything still okay or not? He doesn't say cancel it. So review is to go and relook what is happening. And we indeed tasked the internal audit and risk. They went, they reviewed, they found problems, and eventually after legal processes, then we cancelled the contract. Just like he said, with the, for example, the division inspectorate, that maybe the work of this division, let's relook at it, let's discuss it, whether do we still need this division, yes or no? And then we relook at it and we end up saying, no, there is a way of doing this. We can maximize our forces by doing away with the division and creating these functions within each directorate instead of having one directorate that might reach all divisions or provinces or might not. But if it's in each directorate, it will. So he didn't say, hey, disband now. He says, let's look at it. Thanks.
Okay, thank you very much, Chair. I see your mic has been read already. Does it mean I was already out of my time? Or you forgot to make it not read? Thanks, Chair. Thanks, General. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Chief Whip, I was warning you that you must round up. I want to give to
Nothing. Sure, I would do honestly.